Boxing Truth here. I wanted to talk a little bit about Vasyl Lomachenko, high tech, the double gold medalist from the Ukraine. He won the Olympic gold in '08 and in 2012 Olympics. He's the current WBO featherweight champion, and there's some early news about him. He looks like he's going to come back for his first fight this year of his 2016 campaign in April. It will be on HBO platform. However, the pickings are slim for Lomachenko at 126. Unfortunately, like some other fighters in the boxing world, he's been boxed out in his division because a lot of the control of the featherweight division is with Al Heyman. He has three of his champions are in the 126-pound division. Leo Santa Cruz holds a belt at 126. He's number one according to BoxRec. Lee Selby's the IBF belt holder. Gary Russell holds the WBC. And Jesus Cuellar holds the WBA regular belt. Leo Santa Cruz holds the super belt version. So Lomachenko has no options at featherweight. He's been boxed out. A lot of the control in the featherweight divisions with Al Heyman. He's the odd man out, so it's very difficult for Bob Arum and Top Rank to get meaningful fights for Lomachenko at 126. And Lomachenko is one of my favorite fighters to watch in boxing right now. I really like watching fighters with the athleticism of Lomachenko. I mean, the angles, the footwork, punching off angles and punching while moving, constantly pivoting and throwing a combination and pivoting, constantly turning his opponent. I mean, it's just beautiful to watch him fight. But right now he's boxed out in the featherweight division. He can't get any meaningful fights. That's why he's been fighting. Those two. He had a bad year in 2015. Top Rank couldn't get him any big fights for obvious reasons, the ones I just stated. And they matched him with the best available guys, but they were no name, unheralded, and nobody cared about those fights. He looked good in the fights. He did his job. He stopped both guys. But it didn't raise his profile, and right now they're looking for opponents. But I have a hunch that Lomachenko is gonna probably vacate the WBO belt and move up in weight because there's just no options at 126. There's really none. I mean, none that's worthy for Lomachenko's talent. I mean. And Lomachenko's been stating all the time he wants big fights. That's why, I'm a fan of Lomachenko. The guy's got, he gets it, man. He wants big fights. He's not afraid to fight anybody. He only has one loss on his record so far. It was only his second official pro fight, if you want to count his World Boxing Pro Series fights, whatever. But it was only his second fight, and he went in there against Orlando Salido, Siri, who didn't make weight for the fight, ended up coming in as a welterweight on fight night, outweighed Lomachenko by 12 pounds. And Lomachenko showed what he's made of in that fight. I mean, he was a little hesitant he didn't show much confidence in his endurance in that fight because it was his first big fight, and he was in there with a seasoned veteran, a guy who has a lot of experience, but then there was some of the best fighters in the world. And Lomachenko started out very slowly. He paced himself. He just wasn't confident in his conditioning. But he really showed what he's made of in the last few rounds of that fight. It was a close fight. He ended up knocking down Salido in the last round. He almost knocked him out. I mean, Salido was lucky that was, that was the end of the fight because it was Lomachenko who surprisingly, with only 2 pro fights officially under his belt, it was him that finished the fight a lot stronger. So even though he lost that fight, he gained a lot of respect and praise from the boxing media and boxing fans. So now it looks like I really believe he's going to move up in weight. There's just more options for him at 130 pounds. 130 pounds is seeing a resurgence all of a sudden. It's suddenly becoming a more interesting division. Francisco Vargas is the WBC super featherweight champion. He could be a possibility in the future. He's promoted by Golden Boy. Nicholas Walters is still campaigning at 130. He's looking to fight Uchiyama next, possibly in April. Top Rank wants to make that fight. And it looks like Walters, despite some rumors last year, that he's going to continue his career with Top Rank. So he's also a possibility. That's a big fight. A lot of people want to see that fight. A Salido rematch is still a possibility. Takeshi Miura, the guy that lost to Vargas on the Cotto Canelo undercard, he's still out there. There's just more options for him at 130, and I don't see it being a bad move for Lomachenko to move up at 130. The fights with Leo Santa Cruz, Guy Russell, we already beat up Russell, and Russell and Heyman don't want that work. He knows Russell will get his ass whipped again by Lomachenko. So that rematch is pointless. It's not going to happen. And unfortunately, Leo Santa Cruz, that fight I would love to see. It's an interesting fight, but because of politics, it's just not going to happen. It's unfortunate. And Jason Sosa is also at 130. It's just there's more options for Lomachenko at 130. I have a big, strong belief he's going to move up in weight. I mean, his mandatory is Oscar Valdez. Top Rank knows Valdez ain't ready for Lomachenko. He's not ready for him yet. He'll be mandated as a mandatory. I believe Top Rank is going to advise Lomachenko to move up, and then Valdez will fight for the vacant belt. I believe he's going to fight Igradovic on the Pacquiao-Bradley undercard. Valdez's next fight. So, we'll see what happens with Lomachenko. He's a hell of a fighter. Looking forward to his campaign. He just needs some meaningful fights to showcase his skills. And I'll definitely be watching. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.